those of you who have the opportunity to use the facility of the Andrews Memorial Hospital. Has been expressed by Pastor. He is the CEO, administrator of the Andrews Hospital, and he's a medical doctor for 32 years. His wife, Kim, is also the head of the radiology department at the Andrews Memorial Hospital. Dr. Marvin Rohotos is indeed a man of God. He is a Christian medical doctor. And we are happy to have him at this moment to inform us and to educate us on this very important area of cardiovascular disease, which covers a wide range of things such as hypertension and also heart attacks and everything that has to do with the blood. And so without any further ado, I ask that you put your hands together for Dr. Marvin Rohotos.
Thank you. Good morning or afternoon. It's still morning. How is everybody? Dr. David got you dancing and praising and full of Jesus. Y'all seem awake. My presentation is going to be a lot more sobering, but it's important. And it's important for me to share with you what you need to know about cardiovascular disease, what it is, how to prevent it, and how to stay healthier. Excuse me. So just, I really can't do a PowerPoint, right? I really can't do a PowerPoint. I mean, I can't point out things on it with my my laser pointer. So I'm going to try to guide them through it the best I can by telling them where to look. It's going to be on these screens. Yes. Okay. And then to advance the screen, I just push the right arrow. Can you guys see everything? Can you see everything on the screen? All right, this is a real serious problem in most countries, but specifically here in Jamaica. So I just want you to understand what cardiovascular disease is and how it affects your body and what causes this problem. And the exact cause of cardiovascular disease is not known, but there's many factors that lead into it. Genetic factors, lifestyle, diet, and the way you take care of your body. So the risk factors include high levels of cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, obesity, and family history of the disease, and a very unhealthy diet. Plaque is made up of fat. And the plaque in your blood, if you can imagine this, just let your minds go into an imaginary world, is like little tiny microscopic pennies that are kind of cupped like this, so they can fit on top of each other. And as they float through your blood system, your blood pressure is important because it sticks that plaque to the walls of your arteries. And your arteries are the vessels in your body that carry your pressure. Okay, your body is almost like the plumbing in a house, but it's a body connected to all kind of functions, just like in a house. Good water comes in and bad waste and water goes out. Same thing in your body. You take in good things and the waste goes out. So I'm just trying to make it real simple for you. The other substances that are found that cause this are high levels of calcium. And also, there are some other fat products that I'm going to explain to you in the next slide. But it creates a narrowing in your arteries, and it limits the blood to be able to flow through all the parts and organs of your body. And this is the deal. Oxygen heals That's why they have hyperbaric chambers, because I can put you in a chamber that supersaturates your body with oxygen, and some of those things that Dr. David was talking about, of those patients being healed, will also happen in a hyperbaric chamber. So that's extremely important. Some of the ways you diagnose this problem is for you to come see a physician, get a physical exam, do an electrocardiogram, do a stress test, which stresses your heart, and then your heart acts abnormally, and then we know you have a disease and you have a problem. Prevention for this type of anomaly in all the population that incurs a cardiovascular episode or heart attack or the disease itself is generally by eating a good diet, exercising, like Dr. David was talking about, don't smoke, and try to maintain your normal weight. Normally, if you have a good diet and you exercise normally, you're going to get muscles, so it's going to make you weigh more, but it doesn't mean you're obese. And treatment for this established disease includes a lot of factors. I can put you on medication to lower your cholesterol. They're called statins. They're good. They work well, and they're effective. It's better not to have to be put on that. Or blood pressure medication to lower your blood pressure so it doesn't push that plaque onto the arteries inside your body. The medications that decrease clotting, that creates the danger for a stroke, are things like aspirin or warfarin, a prescription you can get from your doctor, and a number of other procedures for corrective measure. Now this means that you're already in trouble. Then you have to come to the hospital and go into the cardiac cath lab, and I'm going to show you some pictures of what happens, what we do to you inside your vessels in your heart when you have this kind of an episode or crisis. Sometimes you have to have a coronary bypass surgery. That's open heart surgery. That means they have to cut your sternum in half, this breastbone, open you up in surgery, stop your heart, and take a vessel from your leg. That's what I used to do. That's how I paid for medical school, was dissecting that vessel out of your leg and taking segments of it so that they can bypass the clot. And I'll show you that on the screen. All right, so this is a healthy looking heart actually. I want to see a show of hands of any of you that have seen a human heart. Anybody? One person? Wow. All right. So this is what the Lord has designed and engineered for the human body. It's unbelievable. And if you're a physician and you see medical patients and you're in surgery and you see the type of things that people do to destroy or to harm their bodies, it's amazing. And then trying to fix it is even more difficult. So on the right-hand side of the screen, on the top, you're going to see a normal artery that's completely open. Below that is an artery that is starting to fill full of cholesterol, fat, plaque, and it's starting to occlude. That means the blood flow is diminished and restricted. On the bottom is a completely blocked artery. That's bad news. That's heart attack time right there. And what that does is it doesn't allow blood to get to the myocardium, which is your heart muscle, and that heart muscle dies and it never recuperates. That particular part of the muscle is dead forever. Now you can strengthen your heart and you can build the heart muscle around it back up, but the damage is permanent. This is an illustration of where you see the vessel and the blood clot. That shows how it blocks the blood flow to a particular part of your heart. And where you see that little circle almost in the center of the heart, that is where the damage occurs, and that's where the heart muscle dies. You can get this same type of disease in your lower extremities, in your legs, that blocks blood flow to your feet. And this is a really interesting thing for me, because when I first came to Jamaica, what I found out as patients that have this kind of vascular disease and problem, when they go to the government hospitals, what do you think they want to do? They just want to chop your leg off. They do not go into the extreme measures that I'm going to show you to preserve your leg. So at Andrews Memorial Hospital, we have developed a limb meaning arms and legs, preservation program, so you don't necessarily just have to have your legs amputated if you have gangrene in your foot, for example, because if you lose circulation to your foot or your lower part of your leg long enough, you will develop gangrene. And that's a very serious problem, and it's very difficult to reverse. So that on the right-hand side of the human leg, you'll see the same thing. On top, a perfectly good artery. The second one down is an artery starting to close off, and then the last one is an artery that's completely occluded and closed off. Now, it also affects the brain, unfortunately. Our arteries run through our entire body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. So what it shows here is basically the same thing I explained with the heart and with the legs. And these are vessels that run up through your neck, called carotid arteries on both sides. And when they block off, it blocks blood to your brain, and your brain infarcts just like a heart. And it kills the brain tissue, and that doesn't restore either. So the brain's a lot more complex. The neurosurgeons today are just amazing what they can do. But do you see that gray area on the screen in the brain? That's dead brain matter. You can survive strokes and you can live with a small portion of dead brain matter, but you don't want that. That is not something that you want to have in your acumen. All right, this is pretty cool. This is the type of technology we have today. On the far left of your screen, number 1, you'll see where the cholesterol has built up in the artery, and what we do is we run a catheter with a balloon on it, and on the outside of that balloon is a wire mesh called a stent. So on the screen number 2, we're inflating the balloon inside the artery to open up the artery for blood flow and to press the plaque against the walls of the artery. On the illustration number 3, the balloon is fully inflated and the stent is totally expanded. And then on the illustration number 4, we deflate the balloon, pull it back out of the artery, and the stent stays and keeps the artery open, and now you're going to be okay. This is another illustration, so you can see on the far right the stent opening up the artery by itself. It's better, let me tell you, that you never have to go through all this. But if you do get in trouble and you have this disease, we can normally treat you and take care of most of the elements that you have, unless it's too severe, or the damage is too severe for us to correct. And this is another illustration of an angioplasty balloon. Instead of putting the stent, the wire mesh that you saw in those other illustrations, we just inflate a balloon and it crushes the plaque and opens up the artery. But that isn't as successful as putting a stent in the artery. Are you all with me? I know I'm giving you guys a lot of information. It's not all happy like Dr. David was doing, but this is sobering, and this is really important for you to know, because if you understand this and you see it, I'm hoping it will encourage you to have a different lifestyle and to really be compliant with medications if you're on blood pressure or diabetic medication of any kind. Now, how do you reverse atherosclerosis? That is the narrowing of arteries. Now, scientists have discovered a natural ingredient derived from a species of melon that has been shown to reverse signs of atherosclerosis in aging blood vessels. Now, this nutritional supplement is able to boost levels in the body's most powerful antioxidant defense enzyme called superoxide dismutase, SOD. You can get supplements in different nutritional, health food, Dr. Michelle Hamilton, I'm sure, will speak to you sometime during this. She's all into that kind of medicine and treating patients. She knows all of these products. She can guide you and help you with some of these. Most of these are non-prescription items that you can buy over the counter. A comparison of the two recently published clinical trials showed that this particular natural supplement not only reversed signs of atherosclerosis, all the diseases in the vessels that I just showed you, but that it did so better than a leading multi-billion-dollar prescription or a statin drug. And that's important to know because pharmaceuticals here in this country are extremely expensive. They're expensive everywhere, but particularly here. And a lot of times what I found out, I'm fighting all the time with the National Health Fund to get medication for our patients at the hospital. Just 8 months ago, Life Extension members were enlightened to the ability of pomegranate. You know, I have two pomegranate trees in my yard, and I'm sure all of you have drank pomegranate juice and eaten pomegranates, which is readily available. And that also reverses the signs of this disease that you saw in those previous slides. And along with a specialized melon extract, those two components together offers aging humans a powerful new weapon in the battle to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke by restoring healthy function to the aging compromised arteries. So I know this is sobering, and I know it's pretty technical and it's very medical, but I think most of you can understand this because I tried to break it down in a simplified form so that all of you can go, wow, that's what this disease is, that's what it does, that's what it looks like. If I have to go to the hospital, that's what they're going to do to me, so you really get a handle on this. These are 11 foods that lower your cholesterol levels. Remember, you've got there's two types of cholesterol that you want to be aware of. One is called LDL, that's low density lipoprotein, and HDL, that's high density lipoprotein. The LDL is bad stuff. The HDL is the good stuff. So what you want to do is have a diet that raises the good stuff and lowers the bad stuff. I just make it that simple. I'm not going to get technical any more than that. These are the foods. You can read them yourself. Oats, barley and whole grains, beans. There's a lot of beans in this country. I eat them almost every day. Eggplant and okra, lots of okra, nuts, and vegetable oils. What you want to use are the canola oil, sunflower, safflower, and olive oils. The olive oils come from a plant. All these come from a plant. So there's no cholesterol, but it lowers your LDL, your low density lipoprotein. Also, apples, strawberries, grapes, and citrus fruits also lowers LDL, the bad cholesterol. Food fortified with sterols and stanols also lower LDL, and you can read that on the label of any of the food products you buy. In the soy, you know, the hospital serves I don't know how many tons of soy a week. That's just a soy factory, basically. We serve a lot of soy products. Fatty fish. Fatty fish because it's full of omega-3. Omega-3 helps decrease different cholesterol levels, all of these components in your body. And what are fatty fish? Fatty fish are like salmon, mackerel, sardines. Those are some of the fish that they call fatty fish. They have a high content of the omega-3 oils. And then fiber supplements. Fiber supplements like your psylliums, or you can get metamucils, or any product that you can get over the counter that will be a supplement for you and will help you lower your... So if you go to the physician and he goes, man, you need to control your cholesterol, these are some of the ways that you can do this naturally without taking the medications. So after all that, I ask you, it's your choice, right? Weigh your options. So I have a scale on there. One of them has cheeseburgers, french fries, and Cokes, and the other one has vegetables and fruits in that wonderful green mystery smoothie that they try to get me to drink at the hospital all the time. I have no clue what's in that. but it's supposed to be good for me, so I drink it. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions. I know I went through that pretty quickly, but it's a lot of information. I don't want to saturate your brains after this enlightening Dr. David demonstration to get you out, want to bring you down, in other words. But this is very important for you to understand what cardiovascular, how it affects your body, what are the intervention once you're in trouble, but also how to prevent it. Well, thank you very much. Questions? Does anybody have any questions?
All right, we want to thank Doc for that insightful presentation, walking us through the nature of cardiovascular diseases. At this time, we're going to open the floor for your questions, if there is any. On the presentation, you might need clarification on any point. Is there any question? Yes, there is a hand right there. Could we... Any mic is available, we could.
I saw some mics somewhere when I came in.
I think it may be around the side there.